what I forgot. Do you remember when I said shout out to my teacher Konstantin, the physics teacher? There was in physics. There was in physics. Uh, wait. There was in physics. Let's continue the story. No, this is like a small segment. There was in physics, and that year, one of the hardest and trickiest questions. It was the G3 gamma tria. Like in Greek, the G is like it's the C A B C, but it's like the G is like gamma, and it's like this: 10, 10. No, yes, 10 and 3. It was about circle. I don't know how to explain like in English. It was about circle movement, and in Greece, it was like maybe out of all these thousands of kids, maybe like 10 kids, or like maybe five or 10 kids. I'm not pretty sure if it's like that exact same amount of kids, but it was like less than 20. Less than 20 out of all of the thousand that they were. I don't want to lie to you. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was such a small number. You can count that in even the number of your hands or even your toes. So, and I remember those days, this teacher, he told us, he was like from the after school, right? And he told us, you know what? This is like a theme, you know, that I have. This is a theme that there has been speculations that it might play a role, or he but he wrote like SOS, you know, like he said like it is SOS, like write this one down, you know what I mean, like write this one. And we wrote it, and when, bear in mind, like this guy, right, Konstantinos, he didn't told you like, okay, this theme is like SOS, this one is SOS, this one is SOS, why am I telling all that? This theme right here is SOS, this one is SOS, right? He just said one, maybe two, maybe three maximum, but this one he said like SOS, right? And I was his only student, and one of the 10 to 20 students in all Greece that I got that right. And why? Because I studied it. Because he told me like study. He said to everyone, right? But my classmates, they didn't get it. I don't know. Maybe they studied it, but they didn't get it, right? But I got it because I studied it, and when it came like to me, like I boom, I effortlessly did it, right? Now, do you remember that group of guys who used to say that they were going to become pilots and engineers and all that stuff and all these high-tech schools, right? That in the end they didn't get into those, and they got into like some not so high top schools, right? These guys now, I don't know what happened to them. We were like in the same after school, right? But they somehow didn't like this teacher, Konstantinos, right? Konstantin, right? They didn't like him because he was like this dude. He was like very, like he would talk to you and he would discipline you, and he would tell you like he was the same one who told us like with all you need is just 7 hours and 6 to 7 hours, and don't complain about that. Study. This is the final. This is just 1 year. Sacrifice everything, your sleep, everything. Be disciplined. You should be like a soldier, like a robot. You shouldn't ask questions. You shouldn't complain. You shouldn't be like, oh, there's like a lot of studying, or why, teacher, you are telling us to study more, why you are getting us extra work because we need to also study and all that stuff. So he used to he used to tell to those boys that, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, fucking study, you know what I mean? Like, this is like your year. You have those subjects, you have mathematics, you have physics, you have this, that, and the other, and one more subject, I don't know, that economic bullshit that they had. And this is it. Focus on these things right here. All day your mind should be there. 7 hours of sleep. If you cannot 7 hours of sleep, start drinking caffeine. Get addicted to coffee. And then after you will like finish that year and all that stuff, and you will get to university, you have all the summer to get back in life, you know what I mean? To relax, to not do anything. And then you will be prepared for the university once you go there, right? So he was like, right, okay. And he will tell, and he will say that in a way that it sound, he didn't like to make you, he didn't have that empathy, you know what I mean? Like, he was like straight to the point. Yo, this is it, shut the fuck up, stop complaining, do that, it is for your own good, that's how it is, there is no other way. And these guys now, they were so stupid that first of all, they started resenting him, you know, for being so tough. One, two, they were complaining why Constantine is like, why the teacher Constantine is like putting them extra work, you know, because the after school wasn't giving him a lot of hours. So we would have like physics, I think 1 or maybe 2 hours in a week, while while physics was the second most important subject. And he used to tell us that actually he needed 3 to 4 hours for us to do, but he was only doing like 1 to 2 hours, I think, something like that. So in those hours, that guy, like, he was like so smart that in those 2 hours of physics, like, he would pick the best themes, he would pick the best strategy for your physics, you know what I mean? Like, to teach you the physics, he would pick just smart exercises that they would teach you everything, and they would make your brain to work. And he wouldn't pick like a lot of exercises, you know, like, and teach you and all that stuff. He would pick this, that, and the other. I remember, like, in my physics, I had like a small, very, very small, you know, like, notebook, and it didn't have a lot of stuff there, but the ones that they were there, they were like top tier, you know, physics. So these guys, they started like resenting him, and they would also complain why he was like disciplining them, because these guys, they used to tell him that, oh, constantly we have like the high school exams and all that stuff, and we need to write good so that we can have like our high school diploma. And you know what I mean? Like, they were like stupidly like saying stupid stuff. So they started like resenting him, and they were complaining why the hours were like so, there are not so many hours. So they're complaining there for a lot of work, they're complaining there for not so much work. These guys, like, they got it like so wrong, the whole thing. So I was like, and Constantine used to do something, man. Like, in the beginning, in the August, he like would put us like, you know, like work, right, in August. And he would say like, do these exercises, do that, this and the other, study. And in the beginning of the August, like in the first like 2 weeks, I think, he did something. Now bear in mind, he was like the only physics teacher that he had the last year, like the physics, you know what I mean? Like he had the last year, the ones like who were about to give the exams, right? So this guy, in the second week, he was like, okay, now I don't care what these idiots were doing in the other years, but I want to know who is serious about, Panelladikes, who is serious, like who got in August with a serious mindset, with a strong mindset, let's do it, who is trying like to prove that, you know what, I'm willing like to study and do whatever it takes for me to get into the school that I want, right? And he would put that test. And it wasn't like a test, like a crazy test, but it was like a test check. And I remember I was like with two other girls, the class, and I was the only one who got it right. The other two like weren't like they didn't got it. And like he started like thinking like, oh, like this dude, like he used to be a loser, but now like he's taking it seriously. And I always like was listening to him, right? And now there was another teacher that he was like a physics teacher, but he was like in the morning school, like in the public morning school. Now this guy, he was the exact opposite of Konstantin. So this guy, he, especially those boys, that group of boys, he would always like have that empathy to them. Oh yeah, you're right, kids, do not worry, yeah. And they would complain to him that they weren't understanding the exercises that Konstantin was doing and all that stuff. And they were even like talking shit about him and all that stuff. And now what this dude used to do was that, not Konstantin, the public one, I don't know why or like what did he saw. He kind of like acted a little bit crazy in a way that he was watching. Wow, another neighbor. Wow, this one is a hot milk. So he was, I don't know, like he was reading like the biography of crazy physicists, and like he was like behaving crazy and all that stuff, and he was trying like to become like Einstein or something like that, some shit like that. He wasn't serious and he was doing like stupid stuff. I don't know. I never vibed with him, to tell you the truth. I thought that he, in my opinion, in my judgment, I thought as a teacher, like he would like throw a lot of stuff. Like I mean, like he would tell, like these boys, they would ask him, like, sir, is this one like an SOS? SOS means like it's like a very hot subject that you should study because there is a percentage that the creators of the exams will pick it up, and you have chances to solve it once it is there, right? So you already know how these things function, right? And these boys, like, they would ask him like again and again, like, oh, is this like an SOS, sir? And he would like, right, yeah, write that, an SOS. Like in 1 hour, this guy, he would literally name 10 subjects. 10 subjects. 10 subjects in 1 hour. SOS. Konstantin named maybe 3 maximum 3 subjects in 1 year. SOS. You know what I mean? So now these boys, they are starting resenting Konstantin, right? And they are starting to not listen to him, and they don't want him, they don't like him anymore, because now the pressure builds up, and they want a little bit of empathy and all that stuff, but he doesn't give it to them. He's like, why the fuck don't you study? He's disciplining them, and now their relationship starts to deteriorate, like month after month. And what these guys do now, because they are complaining to Konstantin, they are going like to this public school teacher, right? And this guy is like what they want, basically. They want someone like to vibe with them, you know what I mean? Like to tell them, oh, you're wonderful, you are amazing, you are the best that we have ever seen in this public school. And now they are vibing with him, and they even create a classmate, you know what I mean? Like have you seen that movie Dead Poets Society? They even create something like that, where they go like an extra because he's helping them to study, because they don't understand Constantine now, and they wanna succeed, right? And Constantine isn't helping them, and they even start an extra hour physics in the public school, 1 hour. I don't know where they found it, and so because we were like in the classmate with them, every time it was like the physics or like the mathematics, you know, those important subjects. Even in the after school, I would be like with these boys, uh, and it was like they were like, okay, like sir, they were asking him questions. He was like telling everything. So I went like once just to see what happens. It was pure comedy, to tell you the truth. There was nothing that they were doing that it was like, oh my god, you know, like wow. It was pure comedy. It was, I don't know. I was like, what the fuck are these guys doing right here? Why are they wasting their time? And the dude, the teacher, was promoting to them that he's going to write his own book. Like, I mean, like the guy, he was like on another level. And these guys were like, yeah, sir, like, and he would like give to them like all these exercises, and I would look at a couple of exercises, and I was like, what the fuck are these things? Forward, we write, and after physics, I go like to the after school, because that's what they told us, you know. Every time you write, you know, once you finish the writing, your exam, you will come here to the after school, and you will discuss with your teacher on what is happening, like mathematics teacher, physics teacher, etc., etc., etc. So we can see what you did, where did it go wrong, where did it went well, and how everything. And I'm like walking right after physics, and I see Konstantin, like he's like smoking his cigarette, because like he was addicted to cigarettes. He's smoking outside, you know, bald guy, you know, beard, white beard, just tiny white beard, you know, like scratches. It's like Zaimi's. Like he would call, you would call like they would put an S like in my middle name, in my middle name, in my surname, right? Zaimi's. Tell me now what is happening. Like I'm translating you, right? Like he was like very slow, very chill guy. You know what I mean? And I said, Constantine, I did this, and that. Costa. It was like the half of Costadinos. Costa, I did this, and that. Okay, yeah, okay. So what did you do in the third? In the third one. So in the third one, I said I did. It was like the G3, right? But it wasn't yet fully, you know, understandable that they put a university subject in a, you know, like in a public exam, in a high school exam, you know, like for university they had put like an. And he said like, oh, okay, yeah. It was the one that you said, Constantine, like the SOS. It was like the exact same thing. Yeah. And we were talking, and he was like, yeah. And there was another guy, you know, like a mathematics teacher that he used to have me in my loser years, and he was like looking at me with surprise, like, what the fuck, like this guy, like, because from talking with Constantine, it looked like I was like, you know, I wrote, and yeah, and this and that, and then he was like, yeah, about the G3, right? Okay, oh, so you did that, okay, so he went there, he got the subjects, And he was like starting questioning himself even, like how the fuck like they put the G3 right there. And he did, like I remember like at that time, like I talked to him, and then we had extra class for the other subject. He did, he solved the question, and then he knocked the door and he said, James, you did that and that and that and that and that in the yeah. And I said, yeah, I did that, this and that. He said, okay, you solved it. And then I'm pretty sure like I was like, no, I'm pretty sure like I was like the only student like that solved that. Like I was like in the 10 to 20 people like in Greece that solved that physics subject, and it was because I listened to Constantine. I listened to the right one. And even though Constantine, he was in a way, like he was like disciplinary, he wouldn't like be like, oh yeah, I understand you guys, girls. But he was the bad one, but I listened to him because I said, yeah, man, like this guy, like he knows how to teach. And other kids, like in the area, like they would always say, like Constantine, he knows how to teach physics. Like with physics, he's like the G, and that's how I wrote, one of the craziest subjects in physics. That G3, the circle motion, strophic κίνηση, it's called in Greek. And the other dudes, guess what? They didn't wrote shit. They didn't got it. Even I remember like there was a girl like here in Alexandria that she wrote like the top tier, like, and she became a doctor. Even that girl didn't got it, the G3. And that girl, you know what she did? And she was like very smart for doing that. She didn't give an F for the second year in high school, right? Even though like she was like top tier uh, girl in a school, student. But she got, like private lessons from the second year for the exams for the third year. So she started 1 year before every other student started. You know what I mean? Like instead of studying for 9 months, she studied for maybe like 18 to 20 months. You know what I mean? Like, so in August, like she was already 1 year ahead of everyone. Like she was doing again. You know what I mean? She was repeating the year. So in the first year, like she like she studied. You know what I mean? Like she got to know all the subjects, everything. No stress, no pressure, nothing. Just studying, figuring out everything, and then boom. Her second year, she was like dominating. That was like very smart, actually. After years that I kind of that I would remember about those things and all that stuff when I was like making music and all that, I was like, wow, this girl, like, she's really, 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 she acted very smart in the way that she approached exams. So, without further ado,